Well, it only took 3 Spider-Man reboots and 4 movies with Tom Holland, but we finally have the introduction of a fan favorite character, Swagapino Ned Leeds.
Nigga wanna see me fall. Stephen Curry, how I ball.
That's right, we finally have our first official trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Well, technically it's our first complete trailer for Brand New Day because if you somehow missed it, Sony came up with the genius idea to release the trailer in these 2-second clips, like every couple hours across different social media accounts. My God, let me just say that was one of the dumbest marketing decisions I've seen for a trailer release. I honestly think it like soured people's overall perception of the trailer. I know it soured mine just a tiny bit. Because when you're basically releasing a couple of frames at a time, people are gonna overanalyze every single detail. I mean, they were gonna do that anyways, even if you just release the trailer in whole, but with this, you're basically just handing it over to them on a silver platter, daring them to find the flaws. Like for me personally, when I saw that 2-second clip of Spider-Man just putting on his mask and it was just looping over and over again, I could start to see how CG it really looks. Now, I don't know who came up with that idea to release the trailer in 2-second intervals. Like, I don't know if it was Marvel because they're in their weird marketing era with their Chair Watch and the 4 different Doomsday trailers. But honestly, I think it was just Sony because they're so dumb that they would think this was a cool way to release the trailer, just like they thought it was cool to release Morbius twice and let it bomb twice. But whoever's decision this was, please never cook again. But let's go into the actual trailer now, which overall I thought was really good. You know, all my problems went away when I watched the trailer in full. Who would have thought of that? Like just that opening shot of Peter sitting upside down on that beam with his mask off was better than 75% of the Home trilogy. And we get that shot of inside the mask as he's falling towards the city, which God, I thought was really cool. I hope they don't overuse that shot from inside the mask too much. I don't want it to be the new Iron Man shot where he's inside the mask. I hope we just see it like once or twice like that. But this trailer does a really good job at letting us know where Peter is mentally and emotionally since we last saw him. He's still depressed over MJ and Ned not remembering him. And while Spider-Man might be doing fine, you know, we see him getting a key to the city, Peter Parker is really not doing okay. He's in a crappy apartment. We see Peter even look at the key to the city and we can tell he really doesn't care about all that. That's not what he really wants. He just wants his old life back. Also, I saw someone point this out on Twitter, but it looks like the person giving him the key is the assistant mayor from Daredevil Born Again. So that either means Kingpin is no longer the mayor after season 2 of Born Again, or he just doesn't want to be seen rewarding Spider-Man, so he's like, I'm just gonna have my assistant mayor do it. But speaking of Daredevil, we do see Punisher and Spider-Man finally interact. And I love how Spider-Man calls him Frank by his first name. I mean, in the movie, they're probably gonna show us them meeting for the first time, but in my head, I would like to think they ran into each other before. There was a lot of years where we didn't know where or what Punisher was doing in between Daredevil season 3 and season 1 of Born Again. So hey, maybe one of Spider-Man's first times out, maybe in his homemade costume, that he ran into Punisher and stopped him. I don't know, that would just be a little fun retcon for me. Overall, I just love their whole interaction, from Frank saying, "Quit your whimpering," to Spider-Man kicking him out of the car and webbing up his mouth when he's about to say a naughty word. Then the trailer kind of gets into the weirder side of things. Now, I'm gonna give a little spoiler warning here because there have been rumors online about this certain plot point and it seems like they're true, so spoiler warning. But Peter is basically mutating into a man spider, like with 4 arms and a tarantula mouth. We see him wake up in that web cocoon and it seems like he might get the Tobey Maguire organic webbing treatment because we see him shoot a web when he clearly doesn't have his web shooters on. Of course, we get Bruce Banner back and he's the one who tells Peter about the DNA mutation and that it's gonna be pretty bad. I'm excited to see Mark Ruffalo back. I hope we get Savage Hulk. You know, there's been a lot of rumors that we are gonna get Savage Hulk or maybe even Grey Hulk, who knows? Now look, Peter turning into a man spider has happened before in the comics, but I'll be honest, I never read them. But I do remember it happening in the 90s cartoon where Peter mutated into a creature with 4 arms. I think he also tried killing the Punisher in that cartoon, so it's pretty fitting that the Punisher's here actually. But I guess as a kid, I just remember not liking the whole man spider plotline. I remember it going on for a couple episodes, and I don't know if it was just because I was a kid and I was scared or whatever, but I just wasn't really into it. I don't know, I gotta go watch that again. What I'm trying to say is I hope it's not like just some dumb over the top plot line, you know, I hope it's like a real compelling and serious plot line. Then we kind of jump into the antagonists of the film. Well, first off, we see something that's like possessing people, like it jumps from one mind to another, and it looks like whatever or whoever it is, it's taunting Spider-Man. I do wonder if it's somehow related to Sadie's Sink character. We don't get a good look of her here in the trailer, but we've known for a while she's in this movie, and supposedly she's in Secret Wars. So there's been a lot of speculation online on who could she be playing, and the one that everybody kind of has bought into is that she's playing Jean Grey, the Phoenix. But personally, I just never bought into that theory. I didn't really like it. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Sadie Sink is an amazing actress and she really would be a great Jean Grey, but I don't know, it just felt too obvious to me, like, to cast a redheaded person as Jean Grey. Because in the trailer, I think we get a glimpse of her from behind. She's like this hooded figure, but I don't know. I don't like the idea of introducing Jean Grey and she's committing acts of terror on people, you know? Also, I don't really associate Jean Grey with like being a tech wizard and using all this technology to help her out. I did see someone on Twitter say it would be pretty funny if she's playing like Screwball, one of the most like hated Spider-Man villains of all time, like, because nobody likes them because they're annoying. Like, you really got Sadie Sink, an amazing actress, just to play Screwball of all things. But hey, I like my personal theory better. I think she's playing a young Madam Web here. Wouldn't that just be insane? We also finally get to see Matt Gargan in his iconic Scorpion outfit. People can finally stop saying that Homecoming had one of those end credit scenes that led to nowhere. And from the tiny glimpse we see of him, I really like what I saw. I like the costume he's wearing. Sure, it would have been cool if it was a little more green, kind of like the iconic version of the suit. But honestly, I'm kind of over talking about how costumes should be green after the whole Lanterns debacle. But it would be funny if they kind of Paul Giamatti'd him, where they built him up this whole time. They hype him up in the trailers. They're like, oh, Spider-Man's finally gonna fight Scorpion, only to have him fight in the last 5 seconds of the movie. Now, I think Destin Daniel Cretton is smarter than that, but it would be pretty funny. We also get a glimpse at Tremel Tillman's character. There's not much I can really say. We know he's gonna be the head of damage control, so I mean, I'm not sure how much we can really trust him. And we also have those slow-mo shots recreating famous comic book covers. Now, this is where I've seen a lot of complaints about online. A lot of people I've seen saying that some of the shots look a bit AI. Now, I'm not straight up gonna call it AI, but I can agree that the CGI looks a little rough around the edges. And I hope they fix that. I know we always say like, oh, they have time to fix it, but I truly hope that they really like polish it here. Also, if you're chronically online like me, you'll remember that a leaked early version of this kind of came out a couple months ago, and it was slightly different than the one we got here. There's a lot of similarities, but also slight differences. But in the leaked one, we get the slow-mo shot of him running away from Boomerang, and I don't know about you guys, but the leaked one just looks a little bit better than the one we got in the actual trailer. I don't know, the leaked one to me just looks closer to the actual comic cover. So I don't know, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on that. We also see Spider-Man fighting some red ninjas. The Hand, my boy Daredevil, where are you? I know they said Matt Murdock's not showing up, but come on, he has to be here, right? I don't think he'd just sit around while the Hand is still running around. But I love that shot of Peter breaking the sword with his webs. Oh my God, that was so peak. Oh, yeah, of course, MJ and Ned are still here, like always. Now in my head, I sort of had a fan theory on what I wanted to see happen with Zendaya and Ned in this movie. So in my theory is that we see MJ and Ned like sort of at the beginning. At the very beginning, Peter sees them, he gets all depressed, and then we don't see Ned and MJ for the rest of the movie until the very end, where Peter's maybe at a party and he's finally accepting, hey, I gotta move on from MJ and Ned. And then all of a sudden, Zendaya shows up with dyed red hair and they recreate that famous moment where she says, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. That was my hope. That was my dream, my fan dream. But it does seem like they're in this movie a bunch. Like, we see Spider-Man even saving Zendaya at one point. So I'm not exactly thrilled about that, but I do have a sneaking suspicion that they still are gonna try to recreate that face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot scene. It just might be in like different contexts now. But yeah, that was our first official look at Spider-Man Brand New Day. Overall, I mean, I'm super hyped for this movie. I mean, how could you not be? It's Spider-Man. You gotta be hyped. Also, I busted out this Funko Midtown High shirt from the depths of my closet for this video. Yes, there is some janky CGI throughout this trailer, but there's no denying that there is like a sort of stylistic sauce that Destin Daniel Cretton is putting into this film. Yeah, you might not like the sauce he's putting in, but you can't deny he is putting in sauce. And I think this has a chance to be one of the most fun Spider-Man movies ever. But let me know, are you guys hyped for this movie? What did you think of the trailer? Who do you think Sadie Sink is playing? I'd like to hear your guys' theories. Do you think Madam Web? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.